Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and it is that time. It is Sunday night, January 31st, and we are getting ready for our live stream show. We're going to get started here very shortly on that live stream show, but tonight we're going to start it out a little differently. While we're getting the show set up here, I want to go ahead and show you guys the new video that we have created on our YouTube channel. So the new video premiered on YouTube today at 2 p.m. And we also have went ahead and put it on our fishing tips and tricks page. So if you go to hubbardsmarina.com, go to fishing trips, then go to fishing video links, you can go to the fishing tips and tricks page, and that's where this new video is located. So wanted to show you that real quick to kind of kick off the live show. That's the video we talked about making last week, and we promised you guys we'd have done. So we have it ready for the show tonight, and I wanted to make sure we shared that with you guys to kind of start the show. So we're going to do that first, and then we're going to get the show kicked off here probably a little after 8:30. Once that video concludes, we'll show you some photos, talk a little bit about the weather, and then we'll get rolling with the show. Don't forget to tell us where you're watching from. Don't forget on YouTube, give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you like the video, and don't forget to share it with your friends on your timeline and in your favorite fishing group. And with that, let's show you this video. We'll get started on the video, and then we'll kick up the camera after the video's done. All right, so here goes nothing. Let's see if it works. Hey guys, we got Captain Frank here. This is Dylan Hubbard from Hubbard's Marina, and we're going to talk a little bit about hogfish today. You ready, Frank?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, so let's go into first your secret tackle for the hogfish. All right.
All right.
So show us what you recommend.
Here we go. We got two different rig setups that we use. The first is the naked ball jig. This is the absolute easiest way to go here. A couple things we do to the naked ball jig real quick that you can to improve its lifespan is a lot of guys will take the ring splitters, open this up, and change this hook out to a little bit stronger hook. You don't have to, but I kind of like it. You can also take a little bit of super glue, put it right on these threads if you want to. You don't have to, but it adds to the longevity of the bucktail of it. So
yeah, I know Christina was doing that for a long time, and it keeps that feather on a little longer.
That's true. That's exactly what it does. And again, once that feather's gone, I wouldn't even sweat it. Keep using the jig. You don't have to tie on another one. But that's the primary setup right there for a naked ball jig. All you got to do is tie it onto your leader, and I like to encourage a 30-pound leader. I think 20 is a little on the light side. You can absolutely get by with it if you know what you're doing, and you can swing a hogfish without hitting that railing as you're coming in the boat. But a 30-pound, you know, if the hogfish doesn't mind all this chains and hooks and lead like that, they're not going to worry about 30-pound versus 20-pound. I don't believe it.
Very cool. Do you recommend a loop knot on that naked ball jig, or you just tie straight uni knot or
I tie a straight uni knot. Well, you can do any one of them. I've seen them done every which way. I don't like the loop knot on the next the knocker rig we're going to show you, and that's because sometimes that loop knot will get twisted up in there. But that's
6 to 1, half a dozen of another.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So here's our other rig here. Now let me go on to what size beads we have here. These are 8mm.
Does that matter?
Well, that's the size that I like.
Okay, so, 8mm, and they got to be red. Got to be red.
So, I've seen people use every different color, and I've seen more caught on the red ones, but I see the red ones being used more. So does the color matter? Not really sure. And then what I'm pairing it with is the Owner 4-aught.
All right, 4-aught hooks.
Yep, and some people like the 3s, some people like 5s. I wouldn't go a whole lot much smaller or bigger than that, but they are the laser point or laser cut, and they're super sharp, And
the ones we carry in the office.
we do carry these in the office. All this stuff we carry in the office. So,
Yeah. The beads, the naked ball jigs,
That's right.
the hooks, the weights,
right.
we got it all.
And here's the setup we use. Now I like to put 4 beads on there. Smokey swears on 5. I see some people use 3, but I think it's just the clacking of the beads that may
The clickety clack.
the clickety clack maybe. And this one's a 2-ounce lead. I use anywhere from a 1 to a 2. If it's under certain circumstances, you might have to use a 3, but usually the 2 is gonna get you through it.
So 1 to 2 ounce lead, even up to 3 if the current's running bad.
That's right.
4 to 5, maybe even 6 red beads. Don't go crazy.
I think that's too crazy, Dylan.
All right, 4 red beads
That's
is
right.
Frank's favorite.
30 pound again. I use 30 pound mono and 30 pound braid myself.
So who gets credit for that rig? I know Smokey was trying to claim credit.
Well, you know, Dylan, I just don't honestly know how that all came about. As far as I know, Smokey was kind of the first person I've seen use it.
Yeah.
But those red beads were on some of the double hook rigs that people used to use, and we just thought, hey, why the heck not? And he put them together. And
Can you show that rig one more time?
Sure.
The knocker rig?
Yeah, we got
So
it.
it's essentially a knocker rig with 4 to 5 red beads, 8mm red beads. And the knocker rig means the egg sinker is just free floating on the main line. So that egg sinker is unrestricted travel up and down the leader. That's what you're talking about, right?
That's it. Just
All
like
right.
that.
Very cool.
All right. So
Now-
a lot of people had asked, now how do you fish it?
Exactly.
That's probably your next question.
My next question,
right.
how do you fish it?
So it's actually quite easy. I'm going to show you. I've got a rod over here set up, and this is the way I had it set up with 3 beads. I think I was just out of beads that day. I
Oh.
would have gone 4.
You would have gone for
Yeah, I was running low. So, and I think I've got an ounce and a half on there. Just, you know, again, it just varies each trip by the current. And
So lighter or slower current, so you use a lighter weight. Heavier current, you'll use a little heavier weight.
that's right. And I'm using the 30 pound braid, 30 pound leader. And it's super easy. I use a 2500 Daiwa Saltus. You can get
Also available in the shop.
Also available in the shop. You can range up to 4,000. I wouldn't go a whole lot heavier than the 4,000. I've seen a lot of guys bringing out those 6,000s, and they get tired pretty quick. It's a little heavier reel, but super easy to use. Just hook the. Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I was
let's
about
go
to
ahead and
ask.
Throw a shrimp on there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have a shrimp on there.
Yeah, so live shrimp is the hogfish kind of preference.
Hopefully, I don't embarrass myself and lose the shrimp overboard. Because
Now,
I see a lot of people doing that.
let us see how you hook that shrimp.
Okay, well, hey, you know what? For the amateurs, let's show them how to take it out of the bucket.
Okay.
If you go in there and try to grab your shrimp like this, they're going to click and clack all over, and they're going to shoot all around, and you're going to have a hard time getting them out of there. But if you just go in there and close your hand real slow, they can't move. They can't move on you.
They can't
All right?
move on you.
They can't flick you now because they got that little barb in the front. Can you see that?
Yep.
And then they got that one on the tail. And they'll spook you if you haven't done this very often before. Super easy. I like to go in from one side of the shrimp tail right through the other. Some people like to bite the tail off. Some people like to tear it off. Some people just like to leave it like that. It's all up to you.
So that's in the side. So
That's
a lot of people like going underneath the bottom of the shrimp and out the top.
Some people do.
You prefer it from the side.
I do it both ways, Dylan.
Okay, I like underneath the shrimp and out the top personally.
Okay.
But you're saying it works both
To
ways.
each their own.
All right.
Super easy. I bring it right to the tip. I get more distance that way, and I'm slinging that lead out there.
Never overhand cast.
No,
always
you're not
under.
allowed to overhand cast on this boat. It's not allowed.
Always underhand.
You can slide that thing out there.
So are you casting for distance?
You know, I do kind of go for distance, but if I see hogfish coming up right next to the side of the boat, I'm surely not going to throw it out there as far as I can.
I got you.
I'll drop them straight down. I let it sink all the way down to the bottom. Bring my line taut, and just pull up one time, and let that egg sinker sink back down. And when I do that, I draw in the line tight, and then I'll pull it again. Same thing.
So
Real tight.
cast out, let the lead hit the bottom,
Right.
retrieve the slack till the line is tight.
So the line's, you see how it's tight? My rod's even bending because I've got it just taut. And that's how you're going to feel that bite.
Tight enough to feel the lead, but not tight enough to disturb it on the bottom.
Sometimes they'll hammer it. A lot of times they hammer it when you just do that lift up. And bang, he's on there. You reel as fast as you can to get that hook set in him.
Yeah.
And,
so cast it out, let it hit bottom, retrieve the slack until the line is tight enough to feel the lead but not disturb it. Lift the rod tip up, let it sit. Then about 30 to 60 seconds, lift the rod tip up again, retrieve the slack. Keep repeating that process.
And if you're feeling it, sometimes you can get a couple jerks in there just to get a little attention, get those beads clicking around.
Yeah.
And that works too. I do, it all varies,
So the idea is to basically cast out and then kind of walk that lead back to the boat.
That's right. And once I get pretty close, especially if they're not catching the hogfish right next to the boat, I'll reel it right in, because when you're using that light of a lead, and you have a lot of people that are using rental rods with 3 and 4 ounce leads that are straight down, you don't want to get involved with the tangle with that.
Yeah.
So you just get it back in and do it again. I didn't get a hogfish this time. Maybe next time. So same thing. I draw the lead up near the tip, not right on the tip, but you'll get a heck of a lot more distance that way. That's a pretty good distance, for just having an 1.5 ounce lead. Same thing, let it sink to the bottom. And I'm just going to do this one a couple times here. Oh, we almost caught a pelican. Let it sit for just maybe 5 seconds. Bring it in. Let it sit. Draw it tight. And I'm kind of almost pulling the rod. I'm not really pulling the shrimp. I'm just kind of moving it to keep it tight.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be a little difficult with the swing of the boat, but you have to do it like that.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of the times the hogfish are just right on it.
Yeah. And the bouncing it around as well makes not only the beads click together, but it creates that little puff of sand that'll attract the hogs.
And they are definitely a curious fish. I'd really want to know what happens when we drop that anchor. I bet you a bunch of hogfish do swim to that anchor.
Yeah.
Because they seem like a really curious fish when we send down those GoPros, and they're all over whatever's going on. If there's a fish being coming up, they shoot right over to it, and they're like, "What's going on?"
So that shrimp hookup, going from one side of the tail to the other, you ever use any other method, or is that your go-to?
No, I do this. Same thing as you. Sometimes I'll come up from the bottom up through the top.
Oh, so you weren't joking?
No, I really do that sometimes. And then, and sometimes I do cut the tail off. I do bite it off, but you don't have to do that.
And then a lot of questions that we get from time to time is the size of the shrimp. Does it matter that you don't have the biggest shrimp?
No.
Do you look for a certain size?
As a matter of fact, let me see if we have a dead one in there. Oh yeah, look, there happens to be a dead one in there. Yeah, so sometimes when the shrimp die, I'll cut both of them in half just like that.
Wait, show me again.
I'll just break them right in half.
Break up the dead shrimp in half.
And put it right on there, just 2 pieces. It doesn't really matter. It's not like where you're inshore fishing and you're snook fishing and you want that shrimp, free swimming around. If the shrimp is dead, you can use them again. I picked them up off the deck and cast them in the water and caught a hogfish like that.
It's got to be fresh dead though, right?
Yeah, fresh dead for sure.
And once it turns pink and gets nasty, it don't work.
That's right.
Frozen doesn't work.
Do not bring previously cooked shrimp on the boat to catch hogfish, guys. I've seen that happen many a times. I'm like, I've got some cocktail sauce in the fridge. Let's do the right thing.
All right, so we showed you how to hook them. We showed you the tackle. We showed you how to fish it. Now, the first question someone's going to ask when they see this video is, what about the naked ball jig? Answer is, you fish it the same way, right?
Same exact way.
Same exact way. Cast it out, let it hit bottom, reel the line tight enough to feel
Not
it.
exactly the same way. Actually, now that I think about it, you are reeling it in the same way and doing the same jigging, but there are 2 hooks here, and a lot of people like to put two shrimp, 1 on each hook, and I see that's a quite common thing, and I would do the same thing myself. I got 2 hooks, why not? Because if you miss the first one, I don't know if anybody's ever caught them without the shrimp on there, because
Todd does. Yeah, so Todd, the creator of Naked Ball Jigs, he fished it next to me on that Fish Naked trip.
Is that right?
And I was using shrimp, he was not using shrimp, and he actually caught more hogfish than I did. I caught 3, he caught 4.
Well, there you go.
So you can catch them on the Naked Ball Jig without it being tipped, but
right, so
most people do. So the only difference between fishing the knocker rig and fishing the Naked Ball Jig is you would add a second shrimp because you have a second hook on the Naked Ball Jig.
And this is something you'd use maybe if you had some smaller shrimp left.
Yeah.
You wanted to put 2 shrimp on, things like that.
Yeah.
Same way if you run out of your big shrimp, whatever, put 2 shrimp on there, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, but a smaller shrimp works fine by itself. Do you have a size preference? What do you consider?
Yeah, I mean, if it's really small, something, you're talking like
the summertime shrimp.
Those really, really small shrimp. And we usually give extra in our buckets, right? I mean, in general, when we have those situations, and then you would use 2 on the hook.
All right. Sounds good, man. Wait, what about the jumbo shrimp? Some people are like, I need select shrimp to catch hogfish. In my opinion, you end up catching more juvenile red grouper and other species.
Yeah, the gag groupers do hit them too, for sure.
So would you recommend jumbo shrimp? Not recommend them?
Jumbo, a select shrimp, you'll get those in your bucket, and I really don't think it matters at the end of the day. They just want the shrimp on there. I caught a hogfish today, and I just had 3 small shrimp, and I hooked them on the hook. It was the end of the day, threw it out there, and it's just a pretty typical.
It's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I think they just they smell it out. I don't know.
So 30-pound braid, 30-pound leader, 1 to 2 ounce hook.
Yeah, this is a 2 ounce naked ball jig. I know you might not be able to tell, but this is
any color preference on the naked ball jigs?
Well, I just don't have one. I've seen them caught on every one of them. Color. And there's some people that swear day by day that the color does matter. They don't catch one for the first 2 stops. They just weren't casting them on top of them, in my opinion. But that's just how I feel about it.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks, Frank.
No problem. We'll see you guys out there.
And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing,
you're just too busy.
every time I turn off the mic, I forget to turn it back on. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. So basically, I was showing you guys how to find the video.
He was saying how awesome I was, and he was praising me, and you missed all that, but we'll go through that.
Definitely not what I was saying.
It was. Totally was.
So basically, to find the video, you go to Fishing Tips and Tricks, or Fishing Trips on our website. Scroll down to Fishing Video Links and go to Fishing Tips and Tricks, and that brings you to our Fishing Tips and Tricks page. It's got recipe on how to cook your fish. That's our Hubbard's Marina family secret. It's got some inshore fishing tips, some knot tying tips. Smokey does a little kingfish rig tip. There's stuff about inshore, nearshore, and offshore fishing in there. So definitely recommend checking out that Fishing Tips and Tricks page if you haven't done it yet before. So appreciate it, guys, letting us know the mic was off. During the video, I had it turned off so Frank and I could talk, and I always forget to turn it back off. Turn it back on.
I fortunately got the chance to watch the video yesterday and realized that I had to shave. Because I had worked so many days in a row that I was kind of zombie-ish. I just wanted to get through that one half day. I was going to shave my head and face, and then you were asking me if I could do the video, and there I was looking like a dirtbag from the streets.
Like normal. All right. So,
whatever.
So let's get in. Oops. Hit the wrong button. You're going to get to see the transition twice. So let's get into what we've been catching. We're going to start inshore and show you guys what we've been seeing inshore. Tonight we're going to try to get to more of your questions. We're going to kind of rush through these photos and then get to those questions. So redfish bite has been great. We've been seeing a lot of redfish around the docks lately. Definitely a lot of guys catching these redfish around the main dock. I think yesterday, Saturday, there was probably 15 people fishing around the docks, catching redfish, A few sheep's head, some really, really nice action out there on the dock lately. So hopefully that'll continue for us. This week coming up, we got some rough weather, but we're going to be talking about that here real quickly and show you what the best day to go fishing is. But a lot of redfish action on the dock, as you can see here from all these great photos. A lot of guys catching redfish, few snook mixed in. Not many snook, definitely more redfish than snook lately around the docks of Johns Pass. Most of the snook are up in the bay around those mangrove shorelines, those entrances to the creeks, river mouths, stuff like that. We're seeing most of them. And let's see what else we got here inshore. A lot of trout. John Sasser, our buddies, catching a lot of these speckled trout at night around the bridge lights using those tandem rigs with soft plastic white paddle tails, the red heads. We're seeing a lot of trout up in the bay around those islands, those mangrove shorelines, those residential dock lines. Speckled trout are biting well this time of year. Definitely a lot of trout in the area. Let's see if I can advance to the next one. That must be the last one. Yep. So that's the last inshore photo. Basically right now, it's a lot of redfish action. Some nice sheep's head mixed in, some steady trout, and a few snook, unless you're way up in the bay, and then the snook bite gets a lot better further back in the bay around those creeks and river mouths and bayous, stuff like that. Definitely seeing more of those snook around that area. All right, so near shore, let me show you guys what we've been catching. We've been seeing some nice mangroves lately. This mangrove was from a 5-hour half day, believe it or not.
We've been getting them almost every trip. We've been catching some mangoes.
Yeah, it's really been impressive, the amount of mangrove snapper that we've been catching. I almost called them the wrong name there. Been in fishery meetings all week, so.
Gray snapper.
With an A. It's very important.
Gray snapper with an A.
Nice hogfish lately, too. This is one of our Hubbard's Marina supporters, Mr. Dan Netto. And this one is another nice hog. John Atkins, one of our first mates, took his dad out fishing while he was in town, and his dad happened to catch a nice hogfish.
John caught his first two also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
John had never caught a keeper one.
He's too busy working.
He's too big, yeah.
If you're too busy to catch a hogfish, you're just too busy.
Too busy. You got to go on your day off again.
Yeah, go fishing on your day off and catch some hogfish. But definitely a lot of nice hogs for sure. I didn't get this gentleman's name, but he watches the show quite a bit and went out fishing with you and caught a nice big old hogfish and wanted it on the show. This was on the news as well, so this made our Fox 13 report too. So not only on the show, but you made the news too.
Awesome.
This was the day you got delayed by the fog, but you guys finally made it out there and caught some hogfish.
We did.
That was a crazy day.
And that girl had just she wasn't saying much. She was having a good time at fishing. Just before she caught that hogfish, she's like, "All I want to do is catch a hogfish," and it was like somebody was listening to her upstairs.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Dreams do come true. And then we've been seeing a lot of these mutton snapper lately. Definitely a great addition to our long-range trips. Captain Garrett ran last weekend and ran last Tuesday, and then Captain Joe Drew ran the 44-hour over the weekend, and we have just been absolutely demolishing the snapper. Mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, and definitely some nice porgies, vermilions, some big muttons. Vermilions, and these muttons are an added bonus for sure. Cliff got himself 2, and even our Hubbard's Marina supporter, Estelle, kind of a blurry photo, unfortunately, but Estelle Wolfman got herself 1 too. And I guess Cliff is a supporter too. And nice big vermilion lately. Look at the size of that vermilion.
Big vermilion. But
it's ocean liner.
I mean, and that's next to Richie's belly.
Yeah. It's a big vermilion, man. They get bigger out there at this time of year for sure. We've been seeing some nice vermilion. So that's about what we've been seeing inshore, near shore. The last couple days have been a little hit and miss, to be honest with you. I think that has a lot to do with the full moon. I mean, yesterday you had probably one of the toughest half days that you've had in 3 months, you said.
Yeah, it was a really, really tough morning.
In the morning, but then the afternoon the bite picked up a little bit and it was much better.
Well, I mean,
did well.
Hard. Yeah, we did really, really well.
And I know today the 10-hour trip was a little bit tougher out there as well. So it's just that around that full moon, especially on the immediate backside of the full moon, sometimes it can get a little bit tough. And the last couple days, unfortunately, was a surefire proof that does happen. I do want to give a quick shout out to our top star senders, Mike Hart, Betty Hall, Vicky Poole, Jim Evans, Calvin Brisker, Jose Marquez, Christina Fernandez, Tim Corwin, Robin Swindell, Sherry Griffiths, Randy Kessel, Richard Blazak, Bill Corley, Kim Hutnick, even our friend Michael Dixon from Ingle Coolers, Ariel Collado, Brad Wooten, Anthony Barnes, Dan Netto, Adam Franklin, Vicky Vasquez, Christina Hubbard, Lucian Mullins, Heather Linus, Vicky Poole again, Kyle Hopwood, and Estelle Wolfman. Thank you guys all for sending stars. See, I didn't forget y'all. I appreciate it.
Take a drink.
I know.
That was a lot.
That
Your
was a
mouth
lot.
has got to be dry after
Yeah,
that.
it was a mouthful.
And this
show
week, this show is brought to you by Jen and Jason Coling.
with some wild turkey
Rare breed.
It was funny today. We had on the 44-hour trip, we had a captain from California who came out with us on our 44-hour trip.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, he runs a party boat out of California, and he traveled over to do our 44-hour trip with us. Uh-huh. And one thing he said after he got off the boat was that we have some of the best crew ever, and he just can't believe the caliber of crew that we have. And I was like, yeah, it's across all of our trips. We're very blessed.
And Will was working?
And Will and Jason were working, believe it or not.
You got to meet some of our other guys.
So we are definitely very blessed with a great team at Hubbard's Marina. So that was cool. Definitely a big compliment there. But I've been saying that for a long time. We have an awesome team for sure. But he also said that he was super jealous of our live show and all the good booze we have. He was like, I like good whiskey, and you guys get a lot of good whiskey. I was like, that's cool. Yeah, we do. We're very blessed. I appreciate everybody who sent bottles in. Tim Corwin, I broke into your Blantons, and I tried a sip of the Eagle Rare. I think the Blantons is probably a little better.
Well, I didn't hear about this. Now, when I just asked you, what do we have to drink tonight, you didn't say nothing about any of this.
Yeah, the Eagle Rare and the Blantons are in a cabinet somewhere.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice, guys.
They'll be on the top shelf. Yeah. Our live show studio. So we've been talking about the studio. I got notification today from our new landlord, that the studio is being vacated today. So they're going to clean the floors tomorrow.
Nice.
And I should be able to go pick up the keys this week. And remember, next weekend is the Super Bowl, so we're not doing a live show this coming Sunday, February 7th. Super Bowl Sunday, we're not doing the live show. We're going to spend the next 2 weeks moving into our new studio, and I'm getting a shelving unit for all the booze for the show, and the top shelf of the shelving unit has glass, but it has a lock and key.
Nice, so we'll each have a key.
No.
See, so this is why when you send in those bottles of booze, that you actually address it to me.
And because
I'll share. I'm not like that.
I'm not
like that.
Tim Corwin personally came in and handed me the bottles and said thank you.
All right. Well, Tim, next time you come out fishing with me, let me know. You're on the boat, and I'll be happy to put the other side of the boat on the fish. So thanks, Tim.
No, don't do that to Tim. I'll share with you a sip.
That's fine. I'm not asking for much.
All right. As long as you karaoke for me. All right, let's get into these questions. But before we get into the questions, we do want to go ahead and give away one of these free trips. We're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. That is a $130 value going to one lucky winner. Remember, in order to win these free trips, guys, you do have to comment one time on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook page. You can watch in one of the Facebook groups. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch however you want to watch, but you do have to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook live video in order to be eligible to win one of these free trips. And then if you're picked as that lucky winner, you have to text that phone number right below Frankie there, that phone number, your home address, in order to claim that free trip. You have to text us within 5 minutes to prove you are watching live. So let's see who the lucky winner is of that 5-hour half day for 2 guests. And the lucky winner is, I guess I should start it first. You're getting better at the drum roll.
Yeah. It's
kind of better, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't get that any worse. So.
Christopher Swenson, you are the lucky winner of that 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Make sure you text us within about 5 minutes to claim that free trip. We are still going to give away a 10-hour all day for 2 guests. We're going to give away a 39-hour trip for 1 guest. So there's still plenty of other great stuff to win during the show tonight. But with that, let's get into some of these questions. We've already got quite a lot of questions in here, and we've got a bad review. That's not cool.
We have a bad review?
That bums me out, bro. Let's see.
From
Heard so much about Hubbard's. I booked a trip. We started fishing, kept moving around, trying to catch fish. No luck. Fish started biting, but captain kept moving around. Got tangled with people. Not sure I will be booking again. So fishing was tough. Totally in control of that.
The captain was moving the boat around while you weren't catching fish at a stop. So let's think about this now.
Dude, you should read some of these bad reviews.
I know. Let's think about this for a second. So you're not catching fish on a stop. Now the captain's not going to take the time to anchor on a spot unless he sees fish on the fish finder on that spot. So he anchors up the boat. We start fishing, go through a lot of work, circling around the spot, making sure that we're right set on anchor and we're not catching fish, and you want him to just keep sitting there. All right. Well, maybe you shouldn't come back and find another charter boat.
All right. We shouldn't have shown Frank the bad reviews.
Because I mean,
you should read them sometime. They're very entertaining.
No, I don't do it.
Luckily, we are blessed to have a lot of good reviews.
Is my face red right now?
No. Your ears are kind of red.
I hate that.
Look how red his ears are.
I know. It gets me fired up.
Angry
It's
elf.
because, I mean, and that may not have been me, but it probably was. Because I do move around a lot. If you're not catching fish, I'm moving to the next spot. And that's just what it is. If you got tangled with somebody's line that was braid, well, that certainly wasn't my fault or Hubbard's fault. It was the guy next to you.
Yeah, I realized.
And at the beginning of every trip, we tell you if you have any problems, come see your captain and crew. That's something you should have addressed to your captain and crew and said, "Hey, the guy next to me keeps tangling me up. Well, we'll get you somewhere else, on another spot on the boat."
Yep.
End of story.
End of story.
All the problems could have been solved.
So I realized the light for some reason is going crazy. I don't know really what causes that, other than the color of the screen. So let me see if we can switch that up. Luckily for you guys, like I said, tonight is our last episode here in my home office studio, and we are going to be moving to our new live show studio, and we will have a technician. Our IT genius Josh will actually be running the camera and stuff. So luckily we will not have to deal with so many technical difficulties, since the guy who built all this will be there at the computer. So that'll be nice. So one of the next questions is, due to the shape of the hooks, are long shank hooks better for a solid hook set? I would say no. I don't use long shank hooks.
Yeah, I don't use them either.
No. I don't think anybody uses long shank hooks.
The only time I ever used long shank hooks was barnacle fishing for sheephead.
Barnacle fishing or mackerel fishing,
or free lining for spannies. Yep.
Yeah, so that's about the only time we use long shank hooks, and for sure. Jim Hancock, don't worry, we won't need designated drivers. I can walk to the live show studio. Frank recently moved. The live show studio was in crawling distance from your house.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, but don't worry. We can literally walk out of the door of the live show studio and throw a rock and hit timeout.
Well, how many square feet do we have? We put
800.
Put a couple bunks in there.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get a couch. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, there it is.
And there's a
Couch.
gate. There's a gate, and we open the gate, and there's like a huge, like literally it's like the size of almost like half a football field. It's huge.
Nice.
And so there's plenty of room for activities.
Yeah.
It's going to
We
be
can set up a
awesome.
volleyball net, and you and I can play volleyball.
I was thinking more like
Like fire
I don't
pits
know.
and
flamethrowers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was
All
thinking.
right. I like it.
Shout out to the supporters page, sharing some nice upgraded flamethrowers with me. Appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, don't ever share reviews with me.
All right,
I
apparently
learned,
not.
I learned that.
I learned my lesson.
My first year or two, not to read the reviews, bad or good.
Oh, it's hilarious. Today I had a lady. She was yesterday a pelican got tangled in fishing line.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a pelican tangled in fishing line and like half drowning.
Mm-hmm.
And our staff, I rewatched the security camera footage because she was claiming our staff ignored the pelican and was going to let it die, and we don't care about wildlife. So. I reviewed the footage. Her friend came in the office and told us what was happening. It took 1 minute and 45 seconds for 2 staff members to go chest deep water to wade out and secure this pelican and rescue it. And then Seabird Sanctuary was there within 5 minutes of this complaint. And this woman was threatening to write bad reviews and to grill us on Facebook that we don't care about wildlife. And she talked to an employee. She talked to some random kid who was fishing on the dock.
Wow.
And she was like, I talked to one of
And it
your
was probably
staff."
his line.
It was so frustrating.
Oh, man.
And I tried to talk to her. I tried calling her. I tried doing everything, and she just got more upset that I would dare watch the security footage and doubt her. I was like, I was just trying to look into it. You had a complaint. I wanted to investigate, make sure
Right.
we were doing everything right. It was just today. It's been a weird one the last couple days. Next question. Had a great time on the 10-hour trip today. The captain and crew did everything they could to make it a great day.
Nice.
So one bad review about today, one good review about today. That's good. That's good. Why is the website not working to book a fishing trip? That's weird because we're on the website. I'll answer that one after the show.
We'll look right into that. Well, I won't, but somebody will.
Do not miss it. I don't know what that one is. Something about the weather. It's beautiful down here today. Gonna get a little nasty the next couple days. Would you please review the reasons and the techniques for salting the bait on your longer trip? So that's a great question. So again, that relates back to, we will turn the strobe light back on because we want to show you guys the how to brine a, let's turn on the pip. So we have a smaller camera. On our fishing tips and tricks page, again, under fishing trips, scroll down to fishing video links, fishing tips and tricks. That's how you get to this page. And on this page, there is a how to brine your bait for bottom fishing video. So it talks a lot about how to brine your bait, and it will talk more about how to get that job done and why it works and why we do it. The main reason we do it, guys, is brining your bait makes the outside of the bait a little bit more stiff. It makes the bait overall more rigid. It's harder for the hooks to pull out of that dead bait, and it also makes the inside more juicy. So we mainly do that for thread fins. That's pretty much the only bait we brine. And do not bother trying to brine baits for a 5-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour. The only time we do bait brining is on our 39 or 44-hour trips. And you gotta bring a small what I call a 6-pack cooler, a small cooler that's just big enough to fit a 6-pack in, and then you got to bring a big old thing of ice or salt. So I just use the cheapest table salt I can find at Publix. Some people swear by kosher salt. Some people say ice cream salt. I don't know. I think just normal table salt is fine. If the bait's really frozen, all you do is put the bait in, throw a lot of salt in, and maybe a small layer of ice with a little bit of salt water. If it's already thawed out, you want to put some ice layered in there. But the idea is basically you make a really cold, super salty solution, and you set it up underneath your bench where you're fishing, or on your live well where you're fishing on a 39-hour trip. By the time you start fishing, it starts to get this brown juice going. By the end of the day, it's like a purplish black juice, and it makes your bait super oily, super smelly, and more rigid, and they just hold up really, really well. So that is the idea behind brining.
If you take a shot of it, you'll know exactly what the fish know.
Very, very, very tasty. Definitely take a shot of it at the end of the trip. Can you hit me with some of that wild turkey from Jason and Jen Colleen? Shout out to our bottle sponsor.
I'm terrible.
You can be a bottle sponsor. All you have to do is send me a bottle of booze.
You son of a...
Let's see, what's the next question? Don't forget, if you have a question, you have to text that phone number below Captain Frank. Don't ask, or if you want, you can ask it in the comments. But a lot of times we don't see those questions in the comments, especially while we're live, because they disappear very, very quickly while we're live, because there's just so many comments coming in, which is a great problem to have. So let's see, what's the next question? Would there be any advantages to powder coating your sinker for knocker rigs? That's an interesting question. I've never seen it. Try it. Let's see if there is a difference.
I've known some guys that have done that just so that when they get tangled, they know what their which lead was theirs to cut. But
I've seen them paint them different colors. Like I've seen white leads, glow in the dark leads. I've seen that before, but never powder coated.
One of our regulars, I can't remember his last name, it's Dick something, and he made what was his like version of the ball jig, but without the chain.
That's got some body to it. I like it.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of that.
He kind of made his own, where I think he painted the leads, and he put some kind of the 7-strand cable, the wire cable. I didn't get a chance to take a really good look at it. He was showing it to somebody, and I was driving back, with the boat. But I'm gonna ask him next time I see him. I'm sure he'll be out this week.
David Weller said, "Send me your address."
That's David Walker.
Oh, Walker.
We went to junior high together.
I said, I was thinking Weller.
We played Little League Baseball together, me and that guy. Yeah.
Well, he said, "Send me the address." So, Johns Pass Boardwalk, Madeira. And you can send them to Hubbard's Marina, Johns Pass. It's 170 Johns Pass Boardwalk. Let me finish, Frank. Madeira Beach, Florida, 33708. And you can put attention Captain Dylan Hubbard, or you could put attention Captain Frank. Stacy Ammerman, thank you for sending 1,500 stars. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And let's see here. What's the next question? So to answer your question about advantages to powder coating your lead, I don't know if there would be advantage, but let's try and find out. Next question: on the long range trips, do the captains fish the same numbers in order every trip? No, absolutely not. I don't think. I know I personally try not to hit the same number ever within the same month. I mean, your general rule of thumb is you'll find an area where the fish is biting, and you're finding new spots in that area, and you're taking a little bit a different angle of approach to your area that you're fishing, looking for different edges, and you're trying to essentially map out that rock. And then once you hit it a few days, maybe a few days spread out through the week, then you move on to a different area, and you try to preserve those fish and keep that spot going. And if the bite's really, really, really good and you're catching a ton of fish, there's sometimes that you pull off the spot because you want to go find another piece of that bottom that is holding plenty of fish, because if you fish out the hot spot, it's not a hot spot anymore. So it's
True.
definitely, at least in my belief, you want to try to preserve those areas that are producing fish for you and preserve the fishery as well. I mean, you're just absolutely smacking the fish. People are approaching their limits. There's no reason to stay there and keep filling the box.
That's right.
Especially with those near shore spots, because they can tend to get a lot of pressure and fish out quickly. For example, the 39 or 44-hour trip, they were just absolutely smoking the fish. They literally left a couple minutes early, or really almost an hour early, because A, they were expecting bad weather, but B, they were completely limited out on snapper.
Nice.
I mean, it was an incredible 44-hour
That's
trip.
a good problem to have.
Yeah, Captain Joe really put a hurting on those
That's
fish.
great. That's great.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that, because I hadn't. He did text me earlier today, and I forgot to ask him how his trip went. We were talking about the bar. I didn't go, but
they definitely smoked the fish.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats, Joe. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Let's see what else we got here. How long of a leader do we use when making a knocker rig for hogfish? So definitely want to reiterate watching the video. I've had, I think, 3 people today ask me how long the leader should be for hogfish after watching that video.
We didn't exactly answer that, though.
Well, we talked about it. The confusion is basically you're using a spinning reel, a spinning rod, 30-pound braid, and then you do a line-to-line knot, and you do at least...
Did we actually say how long we should make the leader? I don't know that we
Well,
did.
that's the confusion that I'm talking about. I think people get confused because, to me, a leader, and I think to a lot of people, a leader is a 4 to 6 foot leader, you know?
Oh.
What I'm saying is you use braided line in your reel, you do a line-to-line knot, and then you put a piece of 10 to 30 foot of monofilament or fluorocarbon. More advanced anglers are probably going to use closer to like 10 to 15 feet.
Yeah.
Inexperienced anglers, I'd recommend more like 20 to 25 feet of monofilament or fluorocarbon at the end of your braid. And essentially, I would call that a top shot, not a leader.
Okay.
But that's what you're adding is 30-pound braid, line-to-line knot, about 10 to 30 feet of either monofilament or fluorocarbon. And
I use about 10 feet myself.
Yeah.
Maybe even 8. And if I'm, breaking off throughout the course of the day where, we're getting, you get some snagged up and it breaks off and it's shorter and shorter and shorter, I've used it as small as 4 feet. I just kept using it,
Yeah, and that's why I recommend starting longer, especially if you're not as experienced or well-versed in line-to-line knots. You can tie the line-to-line knot the night before at your house watching YouTube, using it to tie that FG knot or that reverse Albright or whatever knot you prefer to do your line-to-line, and then give it a longer top shot. That way, if you do break off, you don't have to retie that line-to-line knot on the boat.
Have we done a video on how to do the line to braid, the mono to braid?
No, we haven't, just because there's so many line-to-line knots out there, and everybody has a favorite.
I want to show how the one I do, how easy it is, and you're gonna love it. And we'll do that sometime this week, and we'll post it. Maybe.
Are you falling asleep right now?
No, I'm tired. I'm tired.
I woke up at 4:30. I'm riding high on the hog right now.
Yeah.
I'm just too tired. I think that's what it is. You sound like you're falling asleep, though.
No, I'm tired.
But we will do that video this week. And the reason I haven't done a line-to-line knot video is just because everybody has their own favorite line-to-line knot, and it's just...
I'm going to show you one, like, the one I use is especially nice if you have problems seeing or with your fingers, things like that, where it's super, super easy, and you're going to love it. I'm going to show you guys. You don't have to try to feed it through any little holes or anything. You're going to like it. So we'll make that video for you guys, and you can check it out.
All right, so someone asked about the best day to go fishing this week. So I want to direct you guys back to the website. On our hubbardsmarina.com website, go to fishing trips, scroll down to weather links. I mentioned we were going to talk about the weather. I forgot. So I appreciate you reminding me. Go to the fishing trips, scroll down to weather links. That brings you to our weather links page. I like the wind finder forecast because it kind of gives you a really graphical view of what the weather is doing. I always start out on the inshore report just to kind of look at what's happening, and you can very clearly see, just looking at the graph, kind of what's going on. Oh, zoomed in too much. There we go. So you can very clearly see tomorrow, or today, the 31st, was the last day of decent weather. Tomorrow, Monday, it's real bad. Tuesday stays real bad. Wednesday, it calms down a little bit. Thursday looks gorgeous. Friday, it picks up a little bit. It's not bad Friday, but it's not flat calm. And then Saturday, Sunday, it starts picking up again. So you can see that in the wave heights. Tomorrow, it's only around 8 foot, 8.5 foot tomorrow. No big deal.
That's not too. But what's the wave period?
What's the wave period? It's 8 seconds.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, totally.
Tuesday is calling
everything brighter in
28 to 30. What?
Everything seems so bright in here.
Yeah, it's super bright. Apparently, we have our lighting wrong, but that's why I'm not an expert in this, and that's why.
There we go.
Tuesday's 8.5 foot. Wednesday it calms down to around 5 foot in the morning. Starts calming down. Thursday looks like less than 2 feet. Thursday's definitely the day to go. Thursday, February 4th, is the best day to fish this week. 10-hour all day, 5-hour half day. Friday looks decent. It's calmed down a little bit. This morning, Friday was not looking good, but it looks like it's calmed down a little bit for us. So Friday's looking good. We've got a 10-hour all day, 5-hour half day. We have a 39-hour scheduled, but then Saturday we get that front coming through Saturday night, and looks a little bumpy now.
If for some reason you guys missed it, we are having a special 10-hour Friday trip. We're trying to make happen right now because of Tuesday's weather and the amount of people that have wanted to go out hog fishing with us. So we have Thursday and Friday 10 hours. Thursday is, as it sits right now, is a definite go. Friday looks pretty good too. If you have this choice of days, Thursday would be, if you are prone to any kind of motion sickness, then Thursday would be your day. But Friday does definitely not look too bad. I mean, you're talking under 3 feet, so which is not that nothing on our boats.
Yeah, it's definitely not gonna be perfect, but not bad. So Thursday looks beautiful. Friday looks doable. Outside of that, it's a little questionable. That front through the weekend, this coming weekend, it looks like it's kind of stalling a little bit. And if that happens, the 39-hour trip will be a good one because you'll be able to fish right in front of that front. So we're watching the weather for sure. A lot of people are commenting about the sand issue. Remember, if you have a comment question, you got to text it in so we can see it. Your comments disappear very quickly, but a lot of people have been asking about the sand issue in the comments. The long story short with the sand issue right now is it's still going on. It's getting worse, and the county started this study. So the county, FDOT, the city of Madeira Beach, and the private landowner, which is Ben Mala and us, the tenant, were all charged for this study. So the private landowner, the city, were both charged $10,000. Mm-hmm. The county and FDOT both paid $7,500 for this $35,000 study. It's a 6-month study. It kicked off in early January. It should end around early June. And essentially the 6-month study is going to tell us what we need to do to get rid of the sand. Cool. So it's going to tell us that we need to dredge, which we've been saying for 30 years. Did you get we need to dredge?
The pictures that I sent you of the bottom finder going through the deepest part of Johns Pass Channel. There's a dog leg. If you're familiar with going out of Johns Pass, there's a little dog leg where it turns into the channel. And the deepest section now under our boat is under 4 feet. So we have less than 4 feet under our boat, under the props when we're going through that channel. That is not a lot of water. It is bad. There should be 12 feet in there.
And you know what? The Army Corps of Engineers regional director said about Johns Pass, is she said Johns Pass is performing as expected, and even if it needed to be dredged, it is not important enough to consider for dredging. Other more important channels like Clearwater Pass would take precedent over Johns Pass. That's what she said in the November, I think it was either October or November 6th meeting in front of the state legislature, the city of Madeira Beach government, the county government, and the county just said there, yeah, you're right. Clearwater is more important. Wow. And the city of Madeira Beach mayor was so freaking furious. It was crazy, dude.
Wow.
And yeah, that was a very frustrating meeting, to say the least. A lot of you guys have commented that you're having some problems watching on Facebook. Remember, we're live on YouTube. You can watch on YouTube, and definitely an option there as well. So YouTube typically has a little less problems. So if you're having trouble watching on Facebook, you can always pop over there to YouTube, and that might help you have a little bit better connection as well. So keep in mind, that is an option for you. So an update on the sand issue is basically it's the same thing that's been going on, and unfortunately we don't see an end in sight until the study is done, and then we have to all argue and agree on a fix, and then we have to get it funded and approved. So very frustrating.
We got to give away a trip.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's time to give away a 10-hour all day for 2 guests. 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Let's see who the lucky winner is of that 10-hour all day for 2 people. That is a $218 value going to the lucky winner of Donald Hines. Donald Hines, you are the lucky winner of a 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Remember, you have to text us within about 5 minutes to prove that you're watching live, Donald. So make sure to shoot us a text message and claim that free trip. You shoot us a text message with your home address, by the way. That is how you claim your free trip. What's the difference between black grouper and gag grouper? There are 2 different species. So a black grouper is a carburetor or true black, while a gag is a totally different species of grouper. So definitely 2 different fish.
Most people have never caught a black grouper. Most people have not caught a black grouper.
Yeah,
they're much more rare than a gag grouper.
Much more aggressive, much more mean.
You're catching in like inshore and 30, 50, 40, 60 feet of water. Those are all gag groupers. You don't ever have to second guess that. And I say they're all, but I've definitely seen some true blacks caught in shallow water, but it's so minimal. I mean, you're talking over 1,000 to 1.
Yeah,
way over 1,000 to 1.
Very, very
I get
rare.
more people get confused on a gag versus a scamp group than any other. The true black groupers are more like a brownish color, actually, with spots on them, and a little bit of yellow also. So it's, you just, if you're seeing something that it's not a gag, and you think it's a true, it's most likely a scamp.
Download the Fish Rules app. Go to hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips. There's fishing regulations. I believe it's in other info. Let's see, we can pull it up on our website. I'm not going to bring up the website again. It's going to set the dang strobe light off. Where is it? Oh, it's already setting the strobe light off. I'll go ahead and show it now. On our website, if you go to fishing trips, under the fishing trips tab, there is a fishing rules and regs link. Under fishing rules and regs is the link to download the Fish Rules app. So the FWC and the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council, so not only the state but also the feds, have an agreement currently with the Fish Rules app. And the Fish Rules app actually hosts real-time regulations for not only the FWC but also for the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council. So definitely the one-stop shop for finding regulations, either state or local or federal, and it also shows you a photo of what you're looking for and tells you what to look for to identify the fish.
It's a great app for sure.
And you can access it offshore. So let's say you're going fishing for grouper, you can pull up a couple different grouper, and when you get offshore out of cell range, the app still works. It's a beautiful thing. So keep it up to date, download it, set it to auto update, and you will love the Fish Rules app. That's why we have it posted on our website. Next question, missed the beginning. What size hook for hogfish rig?
4/0.
3 or 4/0.
Yeah, depends on who you ask.
So 3 or 4/0. Frank always used to say 3/0. I always used to say 4/0. Then I started recommending 3/0 because that's what Frank and Smokey really always said. Then you switch back to 4/0. So stop screwing with me, bro.
I can't let him get off that easy. He's my boss. You know, I gotta change things up a bit.
Got to keep me guessing.
Stir the pot a little.
Yep, you're very good at that. So if you missed the beginning of the show, you missed that video, it is right there on our website. Go to hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips, fishing video links, and then right there's the fishing or how to catch hogfish and what rig to use is the video. Went on a 10-hour trip a couple weeks ago and it's pretty rough out. When do you guys do call it and head in? Waves were about 6 foot. So on a 10-hour trip, if waves were 6 foot, we would definitely call it.
They weren't consistent if they were 6 foot. They were,
yeah, I mean, it's a 6 foot sea is definitely company policy. We would call a trip at that point.
But if it's 3 to 4s, you're still going to see an occasional 6.
I mean, even in 3 foot seas, you could see a 6 foot sea if they get up on each other. So, I mean, essentially, we go by the weather forecasts, and weather forecasts are just that. They're forecasts. No one knows what the weather's going to do. Trust me, we spend a lot of time looking at the weather, and we have some good friends that are weather experts, like our buddy Mike Boylan over at Mike's Weather Page, who I consult with quite a bit. We definitely spend a lot of time monitoring, looking at, and observing the weather, and I fancy myself a amateur meteorologist, and I think I've dazzled Captain Frank a couple times.
It's just the big words. I just don't know what they mean. And I can't Google anything right now. But I remember the trip this guy's talking about for sure. And we had 30 people on the boat, and 28 of them were still fishing.
Yeah.
And if there was 12 people still fishing,
I remember what trip
people,
you're talking about too, and it was
Right.
every bit of about 3.5. I think the buoy got up to around 4 foot at the worst. So 4 foot is a solid sea, and a 4 foot sea on a buoy is measuring the dominant wave height. So it's taking essentially an average of the tallest wave.
Right. So you're in 3 to 5s.
If you let me finish.
I'm sorry.
So if the buoy is recording around 4 foot, yes, definitely that is very rough. And you probably saw every bit of a 5 foot sea occasionally, but not quite 6 foot, and essentially it comes down to safety and what the boat can take. I mean, if you can stay at anchor, I mean, these are very large, safe vessels. If we knew it was going to get that bad before leaving, we obviously wouldn't have gone out there. But once you're out there, you're going to have to battle that sea all the way back. You might as well stay out there and fish if people are fishing, you know. So it's tricky.
I remember we had 28 of our 30 people still fishing, and I was just like, well, we're not turning this one around. We just have 2 people that are not. I find less people get sick and stuff like that than the actual 2 foot rollers, man.
Yeah,
that's where we got people going down. You know.
Yeah, the rollers get me for sure. We are going on a 12-hour charter. Should we make up a bunch of leaders to bring with us, and what type of terminal tackle? So on a private fishing charter with us on the Flying Hub 2 or the Hub or one of our party boat trips, we do provide tackle on a private fishing charter. So if you privately book the boat, we're going to provide your rod, reel, and all your tackle for you. If you go on a public trip, if you rent a rod and reel, we'll provide your rod, reel, and all your tackle. Or you can bring your own rod, reel, and all your tackle. It's up to you. Jennifer Roberts says hi.
Hey, Jen.
Never drinking with her ever again.
Yeah.
Uh, do you all catch amberjack, and if so, when is the best time to come, and what's the best trip for amberjack? Amberjack, not looking good. The last week I spent in the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council, and some of the fish that are not looking good right now are red grouper, gag grouper, and amberjack. Red grouper and gag grouper just finished an assessment. Red grouper numbers are down, but they're not terrible. So we're definitely going to see some restriction on the red grouper, plus some data changed. So the recreational fishermen are going to see more quota, but we're catching that more quota, that extra quota more quickly with this change in data. So we're going to get more quota, but a shorter season. And then amberjack, their assessment came back. We've been overfishing amberjack since 1987, and they've been overfished since like 1980, or vice versa. I think it's vice versa. So we've been overfishing them since 1980. They've been overfished since like late 80s. They've been through 2 rebuilding plans. So when a fish is being considered overfished due to MSA or Magnuson-Stevens Acts, they are required to go into a rebuilding plan and restrict the quota so much so to rebuild the fishery to a healthy optimal yield or spawning stock potential ratio, or SPR. And so it's required by federal law. So now they've gone through 2 rebuilding plans that have both failed, and the recent assessment still says they're being overfished and undergoing overfishing. So amberjack is not looking swell. This year we should have May, August, September, and October for amberjack. We should likely have a May amberjack season. I would say by 2022 we will see full-scale changes in our amberjack season. The best time to catch amberjack are October, November, January, February, and into March. When that water's cooler, that's when we have our big amberjack around. This time of year is a great time to catch them, but they're not open. Right now they're only open May, August, September, and October. So that's when they're open, and the worst time to catch them is when the water's hot in September, August, and October, unfortunately. But in May, we should have a good bite of amberjack. So I would say this year, target those amberjack in May and enjoy them while you can, because unfortunately, we're probably going to go a few years without a long amberjack season. But yes, we catch quite a few of them on our 39-hour, 44-hour, and even the 12-hour extreme trip to do. Now that the deep water closure has started for grouper, is the 12-hour fishing the same water as the 10-hour? No. Our 10-hour right now is fishing very shallow because of the hogfish. So our 10-hour fishes around 60 foot of water to around 100 foot of water, 15 to 25 miles from shore. Right now, because of the hogfish, we're fishing closer to 15 miles, and really, honestly, most of the time closer to like 50 foot of water, 60 foot of water.
We're getting about the same amount of mangoes too.
Yeah, and we're catching a lot of mangroves, lanes. We're catching good hogfish, so we're not going very far on a 10-hour trip. The 12-hour extreme typically fishes 70 to 100 miles from Johns Pass and anywhere from 120 to around 220 foot of water, 250 foot. But this time of year, with that deep water closure, we're definitely going to be fishing anywhere from 100 to about 140 foot. We might start a little deeper to target some mangroves and other snapper, and then come inside to try to catch some of those red grouper, or flirt right along that line and around 120 foot to catch red grouper and mangrove snappers. So to answer your question, we fish a little shallower. We don't necessarily fish any closer. We still fish pretty far from Johns Pass targeting those fish. So definitely still a great trip, and we definitely still catch plenty of fish. Next question. Great video. People suck. It's called Fishing Not Catching. Give them hell, Captain Frank. Anything new with the sand issue? We talked a little bit about the sand issue. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind about the sand issue is we were gaining a lot of momentum and a lot of traffic and a lot of people caring about it. We were getting a lot of news interviews, and I honestly, truly believe the county administrator, Barry Burton, got this study going because he wanted to ice us. It's a 6-month long study. At the end of 6 months, everybody's forgotten about the sand issue. No one cares about it anymore. Everybody forgot about it. And I think, honestly, that's what the county administrator's plan was, is, yeah, we'll start a 6-month study. We'll even pay $7,500. And then you can pay $10,000, but we'll pay $7,500. And 6 months later, no one's going to care about your sand issue. So you can go move away, Hubbard's Marina. And we'll
fire it back up then in 6 months.
I'm going to burn that. I'm going to burn it down. Tune into the after show on the supporters page to find out how I really feel. Don't forget, if you are a Hubbard's Marina supporter, we do that live after show on the supporters page for supporters only. It's a really, really fun time, and it's a little more colorful. You might want to put the kids to bed before the after show. But speaking of the after show, we are just about out of time. I want to make sure that we mention again next week, February 7th, Super Bowl Sunday, we will not, I repeat, we will not be doing a live show. You want to stand up real quick and move this background out of the way? We'll show the people's, the inside workings of all the crap we have in here.
Like, all the way?
Yeah, all the way.
All the way,
Reveal.
Oh boy.
There's not any room in here. You're going to break it. Stop pushing it.
Well, you know.
See, now it's under my chair. What are you doing?
Maybe if you were a little thinner.
So we got one Amazon box, 2 Amazon boxes. We've got, there's Amazon boxes for today. I'm going to grab the webcam. We're going to go on a tour. Look at all the Amazon boxes in here. And it's crazy the amount of stuff that we have ordered for this live show studio. Literally, too much money was spent. It's going to be really cool. I'm very excited about the live show studio. So next week, no live show as we set up for our live show studio. And Amazon is working hard. I had 3 different Amazon delivery guys today bringing truckloads of stuff to the front door. And there's still a lot more to come. So join us for the after show to hear more about that. And shout out to the supporters for making the studio possible and supporting us to make it possible, and a huge thank you to everybody who sent us stars tonight, which also helps support that live show studio and our new efforts, and hopefully we'll be able to really make it pop. I mean, the live show studio, we're going to have multiple guests. You're not going to just have to deal with us every week. We're going to have Captain Joe, Captain Garrett, Will, Smokey. We're going to have the whole litany of crew members, plus other captains, too. I plan on bringing in some other captains from some other charter boats, and it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to bring it to a whole nother level. So make sure you tune in February 14th. That is the goal. So no live show next weekend. February 7th, Super Bowl, no live show. We're setting up the new studio, migrating everything over. February 14th is our estimated first night in our live show studio. Cool. It's going to be dope.
Yeah.
Tune in for sure. And then with that, we are going to migrate over to the supporters page for our special after show. We got to give away the last trip. I didn't forget.
Well...
So we're going to go over to the supporters page for our after show. So if you're a Hubbard's Marina supporter, make sure you join us for that after show on the private supporters group. And then also don't forget, we are going to be having that special Friday 10-hour all day. Hopefully it'll go, right?
Yep.
Hopefully it'll go.
Totally hoping for that.
Then besides that, the only other thing that I wanted to mention is don't forget we've got super light trips this time of year. Our 39-hour trip is running super light this time of year. So great opportunity to join us on a 39-hour fishing trip for sure. For example, this coming Friday has, I don't know, I think it was 18 people on it. And the weather's only getting better. So a great opportunity to get out there for sure.
Yeah.
Someone asked about our new liquor cabinet for the new studio. We are working on furniture. My wife is in charge of decorating, so we're gonna see what she picks out. All right, so with that, let's give away our 39-hour fishing trip for one guest. and move over to that supporters after show. If you want to join us for the supporters after show on Facebook on the Hubbard's Marina page, I just pinned the URL to become a supporter. I also dropped it into the YouTube chat as well. If you want to become a supporter, you get the access to that private group, you get the special after show, and you get all our videos and tips and tricks early. Plus, you get my cell phone number. I'll give you Captain Frank's cell phone number, his home address, whatever you want. So make sure you join us for that supporters page. It's pretty fun. All right, let's see who won the 39-hour trip for one guest. 39-hour overnight fishing trip. $399 value for one guest goes to Debbie Wagenhals from Fort Myers. That is the second time a Fort Myers viewer has won.
Debbie O'Brien Wagenhals.
That's a mouthful.
Congratulations.
We'll see you soon, Debbie. Remember, if you win, you got to text that phone number within about 5 minutes to claim that free trip. And we'll see all our supporters on that private